Rare somehow turned a currency reset into a full-scale pirate civil war, and honestly, you almost have to respect the efficiency. The whole thing started when Rare announced the Doubloon reset for Season 19, because some of those people had been hoarding doubloons since the invention of fire. Entire dragon's nests of useless blue coins, with barely anything worth spending on them for years. Then Rare finally adds cosmetics people actually want, right as they announce everyone's balance is getting nuked. The plan sounded simple enough. Reset everyone's doubloons, level the playing field, get people grinding again. Except the reset apparently looked at certain accounts and just couldn't be bothered. Some players logged in to find their wallets completely wiped as intended. Others logged in still richer than the East India Trading Company. Thousands of doubloons untouched, sitting there like Rare had accidentally forgotten to finish deleting the save file, and naturally, people spent them. Because if a pirate game leaves a giant pool of money in your account, most players are not going to roleplay as an accountant. They're going shopping. People started buying cosmetics, old black market stuff, expensive items, basically anything that wasn't nailed down. And to be fair, the game never stopped them. Rare just left the front door open and acted surprised when people walked through it. Then came the follow-up announcement. Rare basically said, "Congratulations on your purchases. Unfortunately, we would now like them back." And that's where the entire thing exploded. Because from the player's perspective, they didn't exploit anything. They logged into the game, the money was there, the shops worked, the cosmetics unlocked. At no point did the game go, "Mate, this is illegal pirate activity." Some players sitting on a very small amount of doubloons didn't even realize their accounts were bugged. Others had to literally spend old doubloons because they were over the new currency cap and physically couldn't earn more during the event unless they burnt through the leftovers first. Imagine getting punished because the game forced you into financial planning. Then the rollback reports started appearing. Players on Twitter and Reddit claimed cosmetics were being removed from their accounts that hadn't intentionally abused anything at all. And some people said they already had their doubloons reset properly and still got caught in the cleanup anyway. Me being one of them. Nothing builds community confidence quite like innocent bystanders getting hit by a stray cannon fire. And this is where the whole thing stopped being about doubloons, because Sea of Thieves players can survive bugs. At this point, bugs are basically a faction in the game. People are used to servers exploding, hit reg entering other dimensions, skeletons teleporting through walls. But players absolutely hate feeling blamed for a developer mistake. That's the part that set everyone off. Rare accidentally leaves money on people's accounts, let them spend it for days, then rolls back cosmetics afterward like they're the repo man kicking the door down over unpaid pirate debt. And the community reaction split instantly. Some players argued bugged currency is bugged currency. Doesn't matter how it got there. Others argued maybe don't punish people for interacting with systems you shipped broken in the first place, which is a completely reasonable opinion unless you work in game economy management apparently. The funniest part is the entire disaster happened over doubloons, a currency most players forgot existed until Rare suddenly decided it was the foundation of civilization. And the genuinely insane part is that players whose doubloons didn't reset properly were actually locked out of the event because of it, which is incredible game design if your goal is psychological warfare. Rare added a doubloon cap for Act 2 in Season 19, which sounds fine on paper, except because the reset bug left some players sitting on massive old balances. They were already over the cap before the event even started, meaning they physically could not earn the new currency. So while everyone else was handing in the brand new treasure chests and earning doubloons, bugged players were cashing them in and getting shoved a handful of gold instead, which is basically the game handing you an expired Tesco voucher and telling you to stay positive. Imagine loading into a brand new seasonal event and discovering that Rare accidentally set your reward track to spectator mode. You couldn't participate properly unless you spent the old doubloons that Rare failed to remove. So players did exactly that. They bought cosmetics. Not because they were trying to exploit the game like a criminal mastermind operating on an offshore pirate bank account, but because Rare had accidentally engineered a situation where spending the currency was the only way to actually engage with the update. That's the bit that makes this whole thing so absurd. Players got punished for solving a problem Rare created. The game effectively told them, "Congratulations, Captain, your account is bugged and you are now financially trapped. Please spend your illegal real money immediately if you would like to participate in the season you have already paid for with your time. Then, after players spent the currency so they could actually earn new doubloons and play Act 2 properly, Rare rolled back the cosmetics anyway. So from the player perspective, the punishment chain looked like this. Rare forgets to reset your currency, you get locked out of earning event rewards, you spend the currency because it's literally the only workaround, Rare removes the items afterwards, thank you for your cooperation, pirate. Honestly, this might go down as one of the worst fumbles Rare has ever pulled off, and that is an impressively competitive category, because this disaster didn't just fail at launch, it failed at every possible stage leading up to it too. The announcement annoyed people, the idea behind it annoyed people, the implementation broke, the fix broke more things, and somehow the punishment system managed to hit innocent players on top of that. It's almost artistic in a way. And keep in mind, this entire meltdown was attached to a monthly update for a seasonal act that only lasted 3 days. 3 days. Rare spent 5 months building towards a controversial currency reset that already had the community side-eyeing them the second it was announced, only to attach it to one of the shortest FOMO events they've ever done. So players instantly felt pressured to participate, because if you missed the window, tough luck. You must wait for the next artificially scarce pirate weekend, designed in a laboratory to spike engagement metrics, except the event itself barely functioned properly. So the entire Build Rat Weekender now has this massive black mark hanging over it. Instead of people talking about the new voyages, the cosmetics, the event atmosphere, the community grind, everyone's talking about the rollback warnings, missing items, bugged currency caps, and whether logging in that weekend accidentally qualified you for financial fraud. This is catastrophically bad event management. And what makes it worse is this is not some surprise issue discovered 5 minutes before launch. Rare had months. Months to prepare the reset, months to test the edge cases, months to release maybe attaching a highly controversial economy wipe to a 3-day time-limited event where players can get locked out by a currency cap is possibly not the greatest idea anyone has ever had. Yet somehow the final product still launched like nobody involved had spoken to each other since Christmas. At some point, you genuinely start wondering who is making these calls over there. Because this wasn't just a bug, this was a complete failure in planning, communication, testing, and damage control, all stacked on top of each other, wearing a pirate hat. And for an update that was clearly designed to increase engagement, they somehow managed to torch community goodwill within the first 3 days. This is almost difficult to achieve on purpose. Oh well. At least we have another Build Rat Weekender at the end of May, right? Right? Wait, what? Thank you for joining us at the Build Rat Weekender. Let us know how your festival went. We hope you silly shenanigans and clash over the crates and giving you tell. The Weekenders plan to return in June. To clarify the June date going forward, Build Rat Weekenders are planned to run on the last weekend of the monthly update. There's no event in May, as the festival for April's update just ran, meaning the next event will occur on the last weekend of May's update, which is June. To put it another way, the Build Rat Weekender is planned to happen the weekend before monthly update goes live. The first opportunity for this following May's update is over the weekend before June's update. What?